I want to talk a little bit about the Lions. Just a quick observation about the Lions as they win their first division title uh, in 30 years since 1993. And just to watch what happened with their season on the line the last 2 weeks. Remember, they lost to the Bears uh, in early December, 3 weeks after having to score 15 points in the last 4 minutes of the game to beat the Bears. So
Mhm.
they are coming off a stretch where they almost lost to the Chicago Bears twice, and they're facing, now the Broncos, the Vikings. They've got big games against playoff contenders coming up. And what really impresses me is how they've come out in both of those games and played very dynamically on offense. And right now, if you look at this team and you look at the number of major threats that they have on this team, I'm not just saying that Amon-Ra St. Brown and David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, but they have so many people right now who are threats to a defense. And I think it's right up there with the 49ers. They don't have the star power in terms of their depth, but you look at guys like Khalif Raymond, and no one thinks Khalif Raymond is this great weapon, but every game Khalif Raymond makes some 26-yard play that you say, boy, glad that guy is on our team. And and Williams and
Yeah.
Reynolds and Laporta.
Yeah.
This is a team that defenses are going to have to reckon with. And they scored 72 points in these last two games that they really needed to come on and to play well. But I think the Lions are going to be a tough out in these playoffs. It'll be an interesting test Saturday night in Dallas, but win or lose, I think this is a dangerous team.
It is a dangerous team, especially if they're taking care of the football properly. And this is, look, the thing with Jared Goff. If he's taking care of the football, he's not
Yeah.
giving it away, then they're going to score points. Right? They're going to be able to put things up. You just named all the weapons that they have, and they've done a really good job of utilizing those weapons. And it's also why Ben Johnson is probably the most mentioned name when it comes to head coach openings going into this offseason. So, yeah, they should be a tough out, but they've got to protect the football and they've got to be able to get the stops on defense. In the last couple of weeks, they've been able to do that. We'll see what they can do this week against Dallas. Should be an interesting matchup there. But look, the fact that they now have already secured their spot in the postseason, winning the NFC North for the first time. And the last time they won that division, it was the NFC Central, right? So
Yeah.
that's huge for
Yeah.
them. Yeah, it is. It's. I think you got to give a lot of credit to Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes for the way that they constructed that team, and also, people used to talk about, oh, it takes years to rebuild, and you do this and you do that. I think that what the Lions have done in these last 3 years is show, look, it doesn't always take that long to turn a team around, right? Yeah, that first year it was tough. They had some tough losses, but you started to see that they were buying in, that they were believing in what Campbell was preaching. Now, they finished the season very, very well last year, ended up going 9-8, and they don't make the postseason, but you could tell just how motivated they were when they played Green Bay in week 18, and they didn't have a shot at getting in, but they sure as hell kept the Packers from making the playoffs. And now this year they started to put it all together. And so we'll see how far they go, but I think that this is a masterclass in turning a team around, from Brad Holmes and also Dan Campbell.
Brad Holmes, at least as of today, would be my executive of the year. I think he has made so many good moves, so
Oh, yeah.
many positive moves with this team. And just imagine adding Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta to an offense. Well, and look, he understood what was happening and what could happen with his team, with all the contracts and all the people they were going to have to pay. Okay. But if you think about it, Myles, look at it. They trade TJ Hawkinson to the Minnesota Vikings and they draft Sam Laporta and they have 4 years of a very manageable contract at tight end for a guy who might be a premier tight end. They had a
Mm-hmm.
premier tight end who was about to get paid.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you ask Brad Holmes, he's going to say, I think we could do 90% of Hawkinson, or maybe even as good as Hawkinson, and we won't have to pay him, 15 million a year or whatever. But so that's one thing.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.